Port Khazard is likely named after the Majorat General Khazard, its founder. The histories don't speak as to when the port town was founded, though it was likely prior to the rise of modern Kandarin. In the late 4th Age, the Majorat Hazil and Khazard, who dominated Kandarin at the time, split their forces between north and south. While Hazil was ousted from power near the start of the 5th Age, General Khazard maintained power in the lands between what are now Ardoin and Yanil. With his lands extending west from Port Khazard through the fight arena and across the river that divided the tree gnome village and Ardoin, Khazard's forces began to clash with the gnome forces. Even with this conflict, the Saradominus forces of the Carnelian family were unable to defeat General Khazard and his Zamarakian forces. Even to this day, Khazard maintains a foothold in Kandarin. Many within Khazard's army consider him to be an undead maniac that is said to have died 200 years ago, remaining now only in the form of a dark spirit. Despite this belief, he rules over his army of humans and forces captured slaves and even rich nobles to fight in his fighting arena. His pet hellhound Bouncer is his loyal companion in these death matches. As the lands continue westward, Zamarakian influence continues to be prevalent, with an altar to Zamorak and below it the Orania altar, also known as the Zamarakian Magical Institute or ZMI altar. For Zamarakian forces, this altar is one of the best sources of rune crafting. Interestingly, the Moon Clan of Lunar Isle have teleports set for both the Orania altar and Port Khazard. It's possible that early members of their tribe once explored as far south as these Khazard lands. Port Khazard, despite being under the control of the Majorat General, maintains several charter options for travel beyond these lands. A moderate fishing industry is maintained with the fishing trawler setting sail from Port Khazard. Meanwhile, Tyndall Merchant on the docks restores rusted swords and scimitars for a price, maintaining his own collection. While in the Khazard lands today, we don't have any quest tasks to complete. We do have 3 achievement tasks. Those are to steal a cake from the East Ardoin market stall, go out on the fishing trawler, and have Tyndall Merchant identify a rusty sword. For minigame tasks, we'll need to complete a game of fishing trawler successfully. For our skill tasks, we'll need to cook on both of the Port Khazard ranges and the permanent fire. We'll need to chop, burn and fletch willow logs near the Orania cave, mine clay, copper, tin, iron and coal from the mines around Port Khazard and the Orania cave, and finally craft runes on the Orania altar. For our miscellaneous tasks, we'll need to make purchases from both of the Port Khazard general stores, Trader Stan's store, and the Fight Arena bar. Finally, we'll need to bank with Eniola in the Orania cave. With all that in store for today, let's begin. We start today walking into Port Khazard, another port town. We don't know much about the area or the Khazard lands in general. Taking a look around, we find some copper and mithril rocks on the southern end of town, plus tin and mithril rocks on the north end. There's a workshop with some anvils here too, with broken furniture and broken windows. Checking upstairs, it doesn't seem to be much better. What happened here? There's a permanent fire lit near the coast and 2 sets of ranges and unoccupied houses. There aren't any people in the houses. They must be off elsewhere. To the south there's another mine with iron, tin, mithril, clay, copper and coal. This will be useful later. There are a pair of general stores in town with unusual stock like swamp paste and flour. We'll come back to this. While there's no bank building in town, there's a bank chest and a deposit box here near the docks. There's also a charter ship like in Brimhaven or Catherby with a few locations on it. Hi, I'm Citizenscape. I'm new in town. What can you tell me?
Welcome to my antique boutique. I'm Tyndall.
Antique boutique? What do you specialize in?
Well, I restore rusted swords and repair armor. If you ever find any rusted swords, I can restore them for a 100 gold price.
I do have a few rusted swords, as it happens.
Well, you should bring them to me. If I find an antique among them, I'll buy it off you for a good price.
Okay, sounds good. Tyndall says he repairs armor. We have some rusted swords and damaged armor from hand members. I wonder if he can restore armor too. Giving him the swords, he finds that one is an antique. For our trouble, he offers us a price on it, buying it from us. The other is an iron longsword, nothing too special. That's an achievement for today completed. While we try to give him the armor, it seems like he only restores swords. With the money we got from the antique sword, we buy a Tyrus helm from the Trader Stand trading post. It's a cool looking helmet with stats equivalent to a steel full helm. We have better, but it's an interesting look. We then head to the southeastern general store, buying 4 pots of flour and noticing the baling buckets in stock. With some buckets of water from the bank, we make bread dough and use the northern range to make loaves of bread. From the other general store, we buy some swamp paste and a baling bucket. You never know what we're going to need. We also have an old clue scroll which we started previously. It called for us to check out a crate near a cart in Port Khazard. At the time we didn't know Port Khazard, but now we search the crate, finding a casket. We open it, but there's nothing too interesting. Well, we can sell the S-Star for a bit of cash, I suppose. Hello, I'm Citizenscape. What do you do?
What are you saying?
Sorry, let me take this thing off. I'm Citizenscape. What do you do?
I'm Murphy. I trawl the seas as a fisherman.
How's business?
Well, my ship's not the most durable. I'm always hiring young people like you to patch it up when I go out fishing.
Why not just buy a better ship?
A few holes are nothing to an experienced sailor like me.
Okay, so say I'm interested, what would I have to do?
Well, you'd need swamp paste to patch the holes in the hull, plus buckets to bail out any water that comes in.
Right, okay. I can get those at the general store there.
Plus you'll need rope to fix the nets when they rip, and a hammer to fix the damage to the railing.
Okay, seems easy enough.
Oh, and an axe for the Kraken, of course.
The what now?
The Kraken. Damn thing likes to smash the railing, hence the hammer. So, come on then, kid. Let's get going.
Despite the obvious warning signs, Citizenscape is intrigued about the things he might be able to catch at sea. We need to make a good impression, so we may as well give it a go. Murphy sails the ship out to open waters and we begin to trawl the sea. The ship quickly springs a leak. Murphy's down in the hold telling us what to do as the ship rocks side to side. Before we know it, we're fighting off the Kraken and the ship's filling up with water. We don't even realise that the railing needs repair and the net is ripped. As soon as we do fix the net, it rips again. Water is filling up the hold. We try to patch it up and repair the net, but it keeps ripping. Then the Kraken comes back for another go as the hold fills with water. We're too preoccupied with the fixing and bailing to even repair the net quickly enough. Soon enough, we're filled with water and the ship goes down. Grabbing onto a barrel, we float back to shore. Well, that was awful. We didn't get any fish and barely made it back with our lives. We're gonna need a bigger crew if we're gonna try this again. Unfortunately, with Australian ping, it's a little rough, contributing in a timely manner. We spend most of the game bailing and fixing up holes where we can click fast enough. All the same, our contribution is enough to get us back safely and with some share in the catch. Among our portion of the haul was a half-dozen oysters and a rusty sword. 5 of the 6 oysters have pearls inside, though the sword turns out to only be a bronze sword. We're going to make use of the raw fish we have in the bank plus some of the newly caught ones to cook on the permanent fire. With the tuna we received from the fishing trawler, we're going to cook on the other range, having made use of all 3. Despite the relatively higher cooking level requirement of 30 for the tuna, we still managed to cook a good number of them without burning. It's time for us to mine, managing to mine tin and copper in town, plus clay, iron and coal in the mine a little way down the coast, getting us level 40 mining as we go. Taking our ores back to town, we can't smelt them as there's no furnace here. There are some anvils however, so we get all of the steel bars we have in the bank and make them into arrow tips. When we're on a ranged grind in future, these will come in handy. It's time for us to move past Port Khazard and check out the rest of the Khazard Lands. Directly west of the town is a huge arena with scaffolding and several houses nearby. The people here are all armed and armoured. Hi, I'm Citizenscape. What can you tell me about this place?
This is the General's fight arena. You better stay on his good side if you don't want to be fed to Bouncer.
Bouncer?
The General's hellhound. Watch yourself, friend.
We're kind of curious about this fight arena, but not enough to get fed to the hounds. We're not allowed into the arena building just yet, perhaps another time. There are a bunch of houses here, but everyone is armoured up. This must be a garrison or army of some kind. Finding a bar, we enter and talk with the barkeep. Hi, I'm Citizenscape. I'm looking to make a good impression with the general and the people here. Any ideas on how I could do that?
Yeah, sure. Head into Ardoin and steal a cake from the baker's stall. The general's hellhound loves cake, and people of course. Plus, it will be a blow against Ardoin. You can't lose.
Oh, that sounds kind of nasty though, doesn't it? Stealing from an innocent baker?
You want to fit in around here, right?
Yeah, you're right. This is Barbarian Village all over again. We want to fit in, but at what cost? We're not a citizen of Ardoin yet, but this still doesn't feel good. On our trip into the city, Rick stops us. He says that he's giving 80 gold to victims of his crime to atone for his past actions. Is that the going rate for atonement now? We've put our Tyrus helm on before performing this act. Hopefully that way we're not recognized if we're caught. We manage to take a cake, but we're spotted in the act and have to run from the guard. There, I did it. I hope the General's pet likes the cake.
Excellent. I'll put in a good word.
1 beer, please. The Khazard Lands are said to spread out further west from the fight arena. We check out the place to find a camp of gnomes set up for battle. What's this? Wait, is that a catapult? Citizenscape loves siege equipment, it seems. Crossing the battlefield, we find that the gnomes are fighting Khazard soldiers. We're a neutral party looking to become a citizen, so don't get involved right now. As we approach the Khazard side of the battlefield, we come across a terror bird that's shaking in place. Maybe that's why they call them terror birds. In the castle ruins, we find a banner of Khazard, a symbol we recognize as Zamorakian. Oh dear. Not all Zamorakians are evil, but it's not a good sign. Let's keep moving on. Further west and away from the battlefield, we see Zamorakian monks. Well, they seem nice enough. Let's check this place out. Hi, I'm Citizenscape. This is an odd place to put an altar. What's down that ladder there?
It's an, archaeological site.
Fascinating. Can I see it?
Well, I suppose so.
Great. So what is it?
It's a rune crafting altar. DZMI have tried to repair it and research it. It's strange though. The runes it makes are random it seems. Some of them we don't even know how to craft.
Wow, that's interesting. I've helped the ZMI with rune crafting before. Would it be okay for me to use it?
It's not my place to grant you permission, but I'd say they'll be pretty protective of the altar. There's a long winding path you can take to sneak over though if you're determined to use it.
Well, thank you for the information. We quickly pray at the altar here before making our way to Ardoin. We know that we can teleport to the Essence Mines with Wizard Crompety here. We're looking to mine 3 loads of Essence for the new altar. Dressing in our Zamorakian robes, we enter the tunnels and find a banker. They tell us that they are paid by the ZMI to access the bank. Being a neutral party, they work for any group. Since the ZMI are paying them, however, if we want to access our bank here, we'd need to pay in runes. We make use of the long winding route to the altar that we were told about. It's dangerous over a pit of lava, but it avoids any Zamorakians who might not appreciate us using their route. Crafting on the altar, we get a selection of different runes, just as the mage said. We even receive death runes, which we've never had before. It's a long trip back to Port Khazard to bank the runes and get more essence, so we're going to grab a supply of air runes to bank with Eniola, allowing us to withdraw and create 2 more inventories of runes, earning us level 23 rune crafting. Using Eniola's bank once again, we withdraw some tools and make use of the copper and tin rocks near the altar here, as well as the nearby willow trees, which we can cut logs from, then burn and fletch. It's been an interesting day here today. We started to integrate ourselves in Port Khazard and the Khazard Lands beyond it. Finding out that the forces of Khazard are Zamorakian, however, has made us a little concerned. It seems like some of the people here are just trying to get by, however, like Murphy with his fishing trawler. But now it's time we moved on. We're going to have to atone for our theft in Ardoin, and there's no better way than to become a citizen. Please join me next time as we start our path of atonement in Ardoin. If you'd like a chance to voice a character in the series, subscribe and join the Discord. Links in the description below.